O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All righty. Yes, sir. We are on the air. Are mighty pissed off, obviously, after watching this debacle at the hands of the Colts, a team that comes in riddled with injuries, yet somehow or another, the Miami Dolphins can't come up with the kind of performance that you need when your season is pretty much on the line. One of the things we talked about is you got to beat the Colts and you got to beat the Jags. These are the games that at the end of the year, if you're looking at it and you're going, you got 8 or 9 wins, you're going, well, how could we have gotten to 10 or 11? These are the games that you end up losing and you don't end up going to the playoffs. Now, let me tell you something. The way they're playing, they're not winning 5 games this year. They may win less games than they did in 2019 with Brian Flores at this point in time. That's how bad it is right now with the Miami Dolphins. I mean, listen, I can be patient. I'm not giving up on Tua. I'm not giving up on the offensive line, but I'm telling you now, I'm frustrated as hell with Brian Flores. I mean, first of all, you don't pass the ball and you wait till the end of games to start throwing the ball. And then all of a sudden you start having success downfield. You know, Devontae Parker was 6'4" when you started the game. He wasn't 5'4". He wasn't a 5'4" short dude. No, he was 6'4" at the beginning of the game. You can throw it downfield to him in the first quarter. You can take your chances. And so what do? Do I blame the offensive coordinators? No, I'm not going to blame the offensive coordinators. I'm going to blame Brian Flores. Because if you're not throwing the ball early and you're standing there on the sidelines and your offensive coordinators are not dialing it up, or your quarterback plays scared, which, you know, I got to tell you something. The next time somebody tells you that Jacoby Brissett is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL, those are fighting words. Don't ever tell me that again. I don't want to hear that ever again, because he's not. I'm watching him. Somebody that plays with no cojones, I don't want on my team. Jacoby Brissett doesn't deserve to wear the Dolphins uniform. Okay? They should cut his ass right now at the end of the game, because if you're going to play with that, then you've got no choice. You're going to lose all the time. That's why Indianapolis got rid of him, because they're like, yeah, you're just a jag. You're a guy that plays gutless. And then at the end of games, you're starting to fling it downfield. Look, man, when you're a real quarterback, you're going to look on the sidelines and go, no, I'm changing that play. I'm going somewhere else. If I'm Jacoby Brissett, if you really wanted to open it up, you could have. You could take some chances. He doesn't take any chances. The offensive coordinators aren't taking any chances. So then I'm going to blame the coach, because you put all these people in place. And then you don't let them pass early, and you stand around, and there's no passing. And then all of a sudden at the end of the game, let's start flinging it downfield, and then you're having success. It makes no sense. Here's the other thing where Brian Flores is screwing the pooch up here, okay? First 2 years, you weren't losing games because you were stupid. Now you've become a stupid team. And look, I know the Phillips face mask, that wasn't a face mask. It was a terrible call. I get that. But there's plenty of other things that are going on in games. Phillips had another penalty earlier in that game that screwed Miami. Scarlett has a penalty that ends up screwing Miami. You got Jakeem Grant fumbling. Hey, listen, nobody defends Jakeem Grant, but at least I'm honest. and I say, hey, Jakeem is fine on special teams, not as a wide receiver. I agree with people that don't want him as a wide receiver. I got no problem. But now if you're going to start dropping the ball on special teams, and then Brissett scrambling around with another brain fart, the fumble. I mean, that you're now doing the things that beat you all the time. The penalties, the mistakes, the turnovers. All of these things are happening now, and they're happening under Flores. Look, the first thing I'll tell you from the get-go, okay, nobody's getting fired. So I get that all of you want all these changes and all that. Nobody's getting fired. So let's just talk about what really needs to happen right now. They're not changing anybody. They're not going to do that. They're not firing Flores. They're not firing Greer. They're not going to do any of that because this is the first sign of it discombobulating on them. They've been terrific the first 2 years. They have shown progress. Now you're showing regression. And this is why I warned you ahead of time before this game. I said, this is the kind of game you have to win. But not only did you lose this game, you got your ass kicked. You got your ass kicked by a team that is riddled with injuries, which makes no sense whatsoever. You're home. You need this badly, and they came in and outplayed you thoroughly. And it doesn't matter who it is. The defense, X was terrible in this game. And by the way, X has been burned throughout so far in these first 4 games. He's been burned several times. But it's not just an X thing. It's an entire defense, dude. You open up the second half by allowing Taylor to run for 39 yards, man. I mean, it's gutless, the performance by the defense. It's embarrassing performance by the offense. They play scared. They coach scared. I didn't see that from Flores the first 2 years. I saw a guy that was willing to take some chances. I'm watching ultra conservative play. And then all of a sudden you start to open it up when you have no choice and you start having success. And it's like, why aren't you doing this earlier? Why are you waiting till you're in this incredibly deep hole in order to get to this? I don't get it, man. I don't get it, but it looks terrible. And I can't defend this anymore. You know what I mean? I can be patient. I'm not big on giving up on young people that quickly. You know, I'm pretty consistent about that unless I know that the person is, a bad dude or lazy or whatever. But, I'm not here where I'm telling you, oh, no, Tua sucks. Here's more inconsistency from Brian Flores. So he pulls Tua for minor things, typical struggles of a young quarterback. He never has played like Jacoby Brissett has played. At no point did Tua ever look as bad as Jacoby Brissett. Ever. Why do you keep playing this guy? Why? Because it's Reed Sinnett? Because he has no experience? Well, neither did Tua. So what's the difference? Oh, one's the 5th pick of the draft and the other one's an undrafted kid? Is that the excuses we're using? I mean, give me a break, dude. That pisses me off actually about Brian Flores. So you would bench Tua, and yet this guy's playing 1,000 times worse than Tua, and you're not going to bench him, and you're going to stick with this bum? And Jacoby Brissett is one of the biggest frauds I have ever seen in my life. Nice guy. Looks like a great guy to hang out with, but his confidence and his swag when he plays with none. I mean, you talk a lot of shit on the podium. I mean, you want a talker? That's Jacoby Brissett. He's a major talker. Major. Talks about all his swag and confidence and all this stuff, and I'm a starter. Man, you ain't a starter in the XFL. And that league doesn't exist right now. Jacoby Brissett is not good enough to be a backup. I'm sorry. I don't want him anywhere near me. You can't win with a guy like that. You can't win with people that play scared. And all of a sudden now, the Dolphins coach scared. Your season is going completely into the tank, and you are playing this game with no cojones whatsoever. Really is, it's baffling to me. First of all, let me get to, we got some super chats coming in. Remember, you can make a donation on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's where we get 100% of the donation. You can do it here on the super chat, but we only get 70. But let me get the ones here on super chat. Alan D says, Big O, starting to feel like we got Adam Gase again with Brian Flores. Unfortunately, the early success has fed too much to his ego. I don't think it's so much his ego. I just think right now he's just doesn't have the magic touch right now, that Midas touch. He doesn't, where he showed a lot of great feel for the team the first 2 years, he has a terrible feel for his team right now. Terrible feel for his team. So I don't think it's ego. I just think he's screwing it up. And I'm disgusted by the fact that he tolerates Brissett and he trashes Tua. I am pissed about that, actually. Okay? Because Tua never played this bad, ever. Pat in Nashville, thank you for the super chat. Oh, I don't understand why Flo would pull Tua 2 times for the same poor play that Brissett has shown. No, Brissett's been way worse than Tua. Way worse than Tua. Manny J. Snow, thank you, sir, for the super chat. Says, I'm sorry, but this one is on Flores. I'm with you 100% on Flores. I'm not here to even jam on Greer. I'm not here to jam on the offensive coordinators. I'm with Manny J. Snow here. This is on Flores. I still want him as my coach, but not bringing in Sinet didn't make sense. I'm with you too. I don't want to fire Flores. I'm not here to fire Flores, but I'm here to put him on the hot seat. I'm here to put him right on top of the volcano over in La Palma. Okay? Not a hot seat. I want to put his ass on the volcano. I mean, you started now showing me some stuff that I don't like. I want to see if you can change it, or are you going to keep this buffoonery going on? That's what I want to know from Brian Flores. Is this stupidity going to go on now? Is this the football you guys are going to play? A bunch of penalties, stupid mistakes. Your defense never gets any better. What did I tell you at the beginning of this in the pre-show? Where's the money at on defense? Let's go. Show up on defense. So is this what's coming? I'm not ready to fire your ass, but I'm not tolerating more of this. So you better start straightening this stuff out. Leon Fresco, thank you, sir. As always on the super chat, Flores made a bad choice being so useless to the media. He's about to get flambéed and see everyone call for his head. Should have thought this through. Well, I don't care about that part about the media. He doesn't need to be nice to us. He just needs to be a good coach. And he's been a good coach the first 2 years. We cannot say that Brian Flores is a good coach this year. That's it. That's the bottom line. I got to blame Flores more than anybody else right now because the stuff that's going on is under his control. Under his control, they can play with more discipline and make less mistakes. Under his control, they can stop turning over the damn ball. Under his control, his defense, because he's the guru, needs to play a lot better. One of the things I always talk about is when you have a head coach that, he comes from one side of the ball, usually that side of the ball is really, really good. like Andy Reid, his offenses are always good no matter what. Well, Flores needs to go, and let's go. Let's go to Flores right now. Go ahead. Here we go.
I think we play bad across the board. Offensively, defensively, in the kicking game, drops, penalties, turnovers. I mean, we play poorly really across the board. So we got a lot we got to fix. A lot of things we got to correct. Offensively, I mean, just couldn't get anything going. Got it going a little bit late, but too late, and it's not enough. So we got to do a better job, earlier in the game, which we've talked about, but we're still not able to do it.
Brian, I know that it's just 4 games this season, playing back to a quarterback, but as you look to fix this offense, are the necessary tools inside the room, or do you go outside? Whether that's switching offensive coordinator, personnel, whatever it needs to get this offense going.
I mean, I think we got to take a look at everything. We will take a look at everything, but I would say it's really, across the board. Offense, defense, special teams, starts with me, coaching. I got to do a better job. I know I say that every week. I don't want to come up here and say that every week, but I got to do a better job of figuring out a way to help us, play better than that. But we also have to, we got to play better. And we're out there taking turns making mistakes in all 3 phases. And, it's not enough. It's not good enough.
Coach, what is the biggest disconnect right now?
I mean, I think it's a tough question. I think I think this is a hardworking team. I think they compete. They prepare the right way. It's not manifesting itself on Sundays right now. For long enough periods of time, we're inconsistent. We can't string plays together. When we do string plays together, there's a penalty or a drop that sets us back, or a penalty defensively, and then instead of being off the field, we're back on the field, or a penalty in the kicking game, instead of getting the ball, we give it back to them. I mean, there's a lot of things that aren't connected. You got to play complementary football in this league. We have not been able to do that, and a lot of it is, basic fundamentals, watching the ball, keeping your hands down, away from the face mask area or the face area. I mean, there are things that are correctable, that have been correctable, and we need to correct.
Did you consider going at any point to Reed Sinnett?
No.
How would you describe how Jacoby did?
I thought he did some good things late. I thought offensively we had some drops that killed drives. We had some penalties that killed drives. We missed some opportunities early to put some points on the board, and then we couldn't. We're inconsistent. That's probably the best term to use right now. Across the board, we're inconsistent. So.
The second week in a row, you got hot on offense at the end. You were throwing the ball down the field, short passes for the first 3 quarters. Is that Jacoby? Is what the defense is giving you? Is it the offense?
You're right. I mean, I think try to take a methodical approach early. We did, have some shot plays early. They covered them. We had to check them down. And, we weren't able to, push it down the field as much as we wanted to early in the game. And then obviously late when you gotta push it downfield, and you're trying to create plays or make plays. We got a couple, But we also had the fumble where we're trying to push the ball downfield. So that didn't work in our favor.
Right. Could it ever help to force the issue? I mean, like you said, you want to take what the defense gives you. You want to play methodically. But could it do anything positive for you to, again, force that issue, push the ball downfield, and try to establish that?
Potentially. I mean, I think, I know early on, there was definitely some shot plays there that ended up getting checked down. We need to do more of it. I think as as you're trying to call a game, you feel like there's some situations where you're going to get a first down and then you're going to take a shot. We had drops and penalties in those instances. So there's a lot that goes into it that, I think, probably don't, you guys probably wouldn't know. But, that definitely showed up. Hey, we should get a first down on this. It's there. We got it. It's dropped. Now it's a different. We got to go into a different mode.
What happened with Will with the season? If you could update on that.
Well, Will was out. Obviously, I know you guys got that. Probably have more information tomorrow. But, significant enough that he would out for today, and probably have we'll run some tests. We ran some tests. We'll run some more tests and have a better understanding of what happened there. And Byron wasn't able to come back. Again, that's another one we're gonna right after the game. We'll run some tests. I know he was trying to get back out there. We saw him running around a little bit. It just didn't feel like he could really go handle a 9-ball, handle the things you got to handle at that position.
Brian,
Yeah.
Before you came out, we heard Jesse Davis describe the locker room as probably not somewhere you want to be right now. Given that, and given these two bad losses, how much of your job now is getting players to believe that they can perform so much better than you have?
I think our players, they believe that. I think you can't play in this league if you don't have confidence. So I know they know that they can play better than we're playing. I think we know that we can eliminate some drops and eliminate some of these penalties that are, not that hard to correct. It's just a little bit more concentration, a little bit more attention to detail. They know that. We've talked about it. That's not showing up on game day. But I think right now it's about that. It's about watching the ball and staying on side. It's about kicking the ball in the field of play. It's about keeping your hands away from the face mask area. It's about catching the football. It's about those things, which I think if we just do a little bit more of that, we'd feel better. We'd have better results.
Two final questions.
Brian, what went into the decision there? I think it was the first quarter to take the delay game penalty instead of the field goal with Jason.
We wanted to pin them deep, which we ended up doing. 50, that I forget what the score was. I think it was 3-0 maybe. I thought we were playing, decent defensively. I think it was like a 55 or 56 yarder. I think it's a tough decision. I have a lot of confidence in Jason that he'd make that kick. We wanted to play field position right there. And I think we ended up putting him on the 1-yard line. And I think we got the ball back. I'm not sure. I got to go back and watch it. But just, that's kind of one of those. You could kick it. If you kick it, you don't get it, then you give them good field position. Or do we want to play the field position game, try to play defense? We were doing some good things defensively at that point. So just felt like that was the best for the team.
Coach,
Would you say the lack of consistency or other things that have gone wrong lately, is that maybe a lack of focus in some players or maybe some lack of talent in some positions or a mixture of the two?
I think it's a lack of focus, a lack of concentration, a lack of attention to detail, a lack of I think it's all those things. And that starts with me. and getting these guys to understand how important those little things are. The little things are important in this game. They're very important. The details are important in this game. And if you don't get them right, then you'll have a false start penalty when you don't need them. You'll have a drop when you don't need them. And those are momentum-shifting plays that if you don't make them, and they do, you don't get the result you want. So that's what that's what we have to do. We gotta focus on those little things, those details, and play a smarter, more disciplined football game because we're not doing that right now. We're not doing that. That starts with me. Thanks, guys.
There you go. That's the head coach, Brian Flores, addressing the media after a absolute thumping at the hands of the Colts. Just an absolute depressing 27-17 loss. And Dido Castro, thank you for the super chat. He says, how can you expect the defense to meet expectations when they're on the field 90% of the time? Flores needs help running the offense. I disagree with you, Dido. What does that have to do with the second half when you start off and you allow a 40-yard run to start it off? Or in prior weeks, the first play of the game is a 40-yard run by a running back. You're making excuses. This team can get off the field a lot faster, and they don't make plays. So the bottom line is, going over some of his comments, he's right. The got to do better stuff, that's getting old. It's getting old. You're 1-3 in a season that you needed to win certain games if you wanted to get into the playoffs. Like today, these are the kind of games that stop you from getting into the playoffs. And, we heard this week about how the players were pissed off and that they were pissed off about not performing well and not doing their jobs. Well, what'd you do today? I didn't see where that anger led to better play. I didn't see where that frustration led to smarter play. I didn't see where any of that, whatever you want to call it, pissed offness, which isn't a word, but I don't know if it didn't lead to anything positive for this team. Nothing today. Nothing. And this whole not enough stuff, well, dude, it's up to you now to fix this. And this is where you get you're probably going to get the break of this season. Like some guy said, I'm sorry, but Coach Flo has to go. Well, you can be sorry all you want. They're not going to fire him now. They're not going to fire anybody right now. They're not going to fire anybody now. They're not going to fire anybody at the end of the year. So you can stop about all of that because they're going to tell them, hey, this was unacceptable. And then they're going to say, well, you better fix it. And they're going to get a chance to fix it again in the offseason and come back. So all of you out there, they want to, get all crazy. I get it. You're pissed off. They're not going to make changes right away. And this is the first sign now that you start seeing that he doesn't have control of what's going on. So you have to give him the opportunity to try to fix it because he's done a really good job the first 2 years. But right now, I'm not even ready to blame it on the front office or any talent or anything like that. I want to see the coach fix this because you've got players on defense that are proven talents. You got to get them to play better. You got to get people to play smarter and not have stupid penalties at bad times. You got to get this offense to play more aggressive and get your quarterback to play aggressive. Oh, and if he doesn't want to play any more aggressive, get somebody else in there. Please, by the way, folks, do not forget to smash the heck out of the like button. It is very important for the algorithm of the show. It gets it out there. I am Gillum on the super chat says, now I'm starting to question Flores. Well, you should question Flores. We now have a quarter of the season through. We have to question Flores. I like Brian Flores. I don't want to fire him. I don't want him to go anywhere right now. But I'm pissed off at him. I'm pissed off at his inconsistencies. I'm pissed off that the team isn't responding to him. I'm pissed off that they're playing stupid football. I'm pissed off that they suck on defense that badly. I can understand when you struggle on offense with your line full of guys that don't have any experience. But on defense, that's not the case. You've got a ton of experience on the defensive side. You got to play better than this. You got to carry this team, and they don't do that. That's on Flores. Flores is the defensive guru. That's Flores' defense. The money is on defense. That's on Flores. So before I start pointing at what Jalen Phillips can't play, or Javon Holland can't get it done, or Nick Needham isn't good enough, or something's going on with X, I'm going to blame Brian Flores first because it's too many people. It's too many people. Why isn't Jerome Baker chasing after the quarterback more? Why isn't he playing more like he played last year? What did you do to the defense that he's not doing that? You know what I'm saying? This is on Brian Flores. Right now, for me, I'm putting Brian Flores on a volcano-like hot seat right now. I'm putting a nice big iron chair that's right above the volcano. And his ass is parked on that right now. And he needs to show me over the next couple of months here that he can straighten these problems out. Because right now, you can forget about a winning season. You can forget about playoffs. You can forget about all of that. If this quarter of a season is anything like what we're going to see for the next 75% of this season, they got no shot. This is going to be an embarrassment. You know what you're doing now? You're playing for Spencer Rattler, QB from Oklahoma. For those of you that don't know, you're playing for the Clemson kid. What is it? Kayvon Thibodeau, right? I think it is something like that. Maybe you're playing for Sam Howell from UNC. Although I got to tell you, the Pittsburgh kid, the Pickett kid, that's the best quarterback slinging it in a Pittsburgh uniform since Marino. That kid can sling it. So is that what they're doing now? They're playing for the number 1 pick, number 2 pick in the draft? I mean, this is bad. This is bad. And I have shown incredible patience. I know a lot of you are already off the bandwagon. You want to fire Flo and Greer and Tua sucks and all that and the offensive line. I'm not going that crazy. But I am pointing fingers at Flo now because I'm watching terrible football. And that's when I lose it, you know, and I've lost it whether it's Gase or Sperano or Cam Cameron or Philbin or whatever. When it's terrible football, I can't take it. You know, the first 2 years I watched, even if you were limited in talent at times, I still saw smart, tough football. And that always gives you a chance to win games. I'm not watching smart, tough football right now. I'm watching stupid, irresponsible football is what I'm watching. Dude, this thing is going so quickly that I can't even see some of the super chats. One went by and I missed it. And I'm sorry, I can't even catch up to it. Manuel Malo says Flores is the head coach. It all runs through him. He needs to fix this ASAP. Hell yeah, I'm with you there. Manny J. Snow, thank you again. When this offense makes Fitzpatrick look like Marino, there's a problem. At least under Fitz, you could see a spark of motivation from the offense. I agree. This is on Flo. As Nick Welch says, Dolphins are hot garbage, same old Dolphins. And I would love to argue with him and say, no, this isn't the same old Dolphins. Because I was watching the last 2 years a team that was headed into another direction, not like the Dolphins. What I watched today, that's the same old Dolphins. I can't argue with any fan that's pissed off and says this is the same old Dolphins, because that's exactly what we're watching. So if Brian Flores, you know, we have a ring of honor. We also have, like, you know, the sewer of shame, right? Because We've got the Ring of Honor for the great Dolphin players and coaches and all that. We've got the Sewer of Shame also. You know, you can go to the Sewer of Shame and you can visit Cam Cameron. You can go to the Sewer of Shame and you can visit Adam Gase. Sammy Smith is in the Sewer of Shame also. I mean, we could start talking about the terrible picks, the terrible players, the terrible coaches, the terrible front office executives. I mean, there's a lot of people in the Sewer of Shame. There's a lot of teams in the Sewer of Shame. Now, if this team wants to join it, because Brian Flores was, he went from starting to work his way to a Ring of Honor type of thing to go into the Sewer of Shame. That's what's going on, unfortunately. And when he says it's not manifesting itself at all, well, then has he lost communication? Has he lost touch with his team? Is that what's going on? Because if you're coaching something all week long, and then we will get to Sunday, and they're not doing what you coached them to do on throughout the week, then that's on you, the coach. And, okay, so your first 2 years went really well. How in the world did you lose touch with your team? I don't know if he has or not. It's too early to say that also. But that's how they're playing, right? I mean, you continue to make mistakes. So we're going to find out now over the next couple of weeks if Flo can reach his team and if the mistakes stop in key moments. We're going to find that out. That's going to be very important in this process. This is where we're going to find out because, remember, I'm pretty consistent about all of this. I'm not telling you that Zach Wilson is a failure or Mac Jones is a failure or Tua is a failure, and I'm not telling you that Justin Herbert is a success either, right? What have I told you, right? I told you that I need to see adversity. I need to see how you overcome adversity. So I need to see Justin Herbert in those situations where he's up against really good teams and tough defenses, and he's beating good teams, and he's taking his team to a playoffs, and he can win games and key moments and things like that. And I haven't seen that yet. Last week was the first sign because he beat Kansas City, although it's kind of – did Philly win or what? I didn't even look. KC pulled it out at the end. They won by the seat of their pants again. So KC, they ended up beating KC, so that was the first time. Well, guess what? Things have gone well for Flo the first 2 years. He's been, whatever rough start he had, he was able to overcome it. This is the roughest start of them all. This is rougher than 0-7. Let me explain. You had no expectations the first year. You tore it all the way down to the bone. You didn't have any talent left on that team. Even X was injured and out that year, right? He only played a couple games and then he was out. So nobody really expected you to do anything, and you got out of that 0-7 and went 5-4 and won in New England and all that good stuff, which was beautiful. Last year you went 0-2 and then went 10-4. Nobody really expected you to go to 10 games. But now nobody's sleeping on the Dolphins anymore. Everybody's ready for the Dolphins. They know what Flo has done the first 2 years, so they're ready for you now. They're prepared, and you're not prepared for them. And so now the chess pieces have moved, and now it's their turn, and they're getting the best of you, and you're not answering. So now, and that's what Dido Castro was asking. If Flores has lost the team, we're going to find out now. So now you're coaching all of this, and you're saying it's not manifesting itself at all, quote unquote. Well, over the next couple of weeks, you will be tested. And we're going to see if you can actually reach your team and get them back on track to play smart football, to play better offensively, to play way better consistently on defense. We're going to find out. We're going to find out now. We're going to find out now because Adversity has hit. He is not meeting expectations now, something he didn't have his first 2 years. So expectations from within, expectations from the periphery, and you're underachieving badly. Don't forget, folks, to smash the hell out of the like button. It's very important that you smash the like button. And remember, you can also make donations. I know a lot of you are doing it on Super Chat, but you can send me a question also on Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. If you got a question there, send it in at Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo, and we will get to that question also. Appreciate all of you out there. The Joe Robbie curse is undefeated. Yeah, the baseball team won 2 titles there, bro. There is no curse. It's either you know how to do it or you don't. That's it. And the Canes, they don't know how to do it, and the Dolphins don't know how to do it. The Marlins have won 2 titles there. So there's no curse. But, I mean, if it makes you, sleep at night a lot better, then, go for it. Enjoy yourself. If that's your NyQuil, go ahead. Alan D says, Big O, could it be that Flores has become gun-shy about playing based on performance and not draft status that lost him the team, specifically on the O-line? Alan, I don't know what's going on. I can't tell you exactly what's going on and why. All I know is they're not responding to Flores right now because they're making the same mistakes every single week. And that's the thing. So the Jets have a lead on Tennessee, 27-24, with 1:10 left in overtime, and Tannehill's got the ball. And or the Jets. Who's got the ball there? Is it the Jets? The Titans got it? Okay, they ran for the first down there. That's hilarious. Wow. All right, where is the trust, Big O? Right now, there is no trust. Right now, I'm not seeing any trust. Right now, they've got to come back to earn the trust now. Because you went through the first 2 years. Now, it's a different monster you're dealing with. You're dealing with expectations now. So now you're not coaching like the underdog. Now you're not coaching where people are not really expecting much from you and you surprise. Now you're coaching where people are expecting you to be one of the better teams in the league, and you're not showing up. And that's a different monster now that Flores has to deal with. And now we've got to see if he responds. And we'll find out how he finishes the rest of this season. There's plenty of time to change everybody's minds. There's plenty of time to get them playing better football. But the question is, can he get it done? That's really the entire thing there. We got Manny J. Snow says, Big O has the best pre- and post-game coverage in town. We'll find out about Flo's mojo in a couple of weeks. You are correct, sir. We are definitely going to find out about Flo's mojo in the next couple of weeks. I agree with you on that. Oh, yeah. Flores acting like he's won 6 championships. Well, he did as an assistant coach. I only paid $30 for Colts Fins game in section 228, so I am happy. You guys are naive. 22 accusers, 10 possible criminal charges. Depositions take place this week. You will see. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I was just reading some stuff there. There's so many texts coming in right now. Big O, where are you at for our conversation? Rich is boring me. Huh? Well, I don't know about Rich. I don't know who Rich is. Art Zimmerman says, can't believe we didn't throw deep again until well into the fourth quarter. Who's making that's all Flo, dude. That's all Flo. Don't blame the offensive coordinators. Blaming the offensive coordinators is a cheesy excuse. The defense is not playing well, you blame Flo. The offensive line is not playing well, you blame Flo. They keep Brissett in the game, you blame Flo. They don't open up the game at the beginning, you blame Flo, and they wait till the end, you blame Flo. You see all those stupid penalties, you blame Flo. There's no one else to blame but the head coach right now. Right now, this is every single thing that's going on is all about Brian Flores, because it's not one game. When it's one game, we can point at specific individuals and say, okay, you guys are 9-1, you guys are, 7-2, you're playing really well. Now you lost this game, and why did you lose? Well, this guy missed a block, and that guy made the wrong call, and that, no. But if every week people are making stupid mistakes on a consistent basis, that goes on the coach. If every week there is poor quarterback play, and now it's multiple quarterbacks, I'm blaming Flo now and his ideas of what's going on with the offense and whatever kibosh he has put on the offense. Because he's standing there with his headsets on, he's hearing all the calls. If he wants it opened up, he could easily say, yo, let's go. Let's open it up. Let's take more chances. And that's not happening. All right. So to me, this is a perfect test right now for Flo. Okay? Perfect test for Flo. And we'll see if he can pass that test. That's the only way to look at this right now. Flo has earned enough to this point that I'm not with you guys like, okay, well, now you got to fire him. No. He's proven enough in the first 2 years. He's got to now show it. But now the heat needs to come up on him now. Now the heat needs to turn up and say, okay, all right, you can play as the front runner. You can play as the underdog. Now let's see you handle pressure and being the favorite. And being, if not the favorite, have expectations. All of those kind of things. Can you handle that? Remember one of the things that we talked about earlier in the week about college coaches. And I told you college coaches got to do 3 things. They got to be able to recruit, they got to be able to develop the talent, and they got to be able to maintain the program. And it's incredibly hard to maintain a program. And there were some coaches here in the history of the University of Miami, like a Larry Coker and a Dennis Erickson, who were very good X's and O's coaches. And they did a great job picking up where somebody left off talent-wise, and they won with that talent. But once their talent took over, well, then the program went to hell. Once Coker's players took over, it was downhill. Once Dennis Erickson's players completely took over, it went downhill, and they were getting their asses kicked every year in bowl games. That's just the way it goes. Why? Because they could coach, but they couldn't maintain. Well, Flo has been able to handle situations so far as the underdog. Now, can you handle situations as expectations, as a favorite? And right now, he's failing that test. The Jets, by the way, have beaten the Tennessee Titans in overtime. Tennessee misses a field goal in overtime, and the Jets pick up their first victory of the season against Tennessee, 27-24. That's what I get for betting on Tannehill and company and laying the 5 points. Damn it. Was it 5 points? Either way I lost, it doesn't matter, really, whether it was 5, 6, or 7 or whatever it was. It was 6 I laid. Damn it. Damn Jets win. It's crazy. Can't wait for Ira and Clay, Big O. Richmond Webb himself said Marino could not succeed behind this line. Nobody succeeds behind this line, but that was the coach's call that he wanted to go that young on the offensive line. Not anybody else. That's Flo's call. Okay? I seriously don't know how Greer could look at Ross in the eye and say, trust me, the process, I'm building this thing, get the hell out of here. Well, I mean, And you're entitled to feel like that. That's fine. You're entitled to feel like that. But the first set of adversity, you're already gonna, fire the two guys. That's weak also, because nobody was firing them all through the first 2 years. Everybody was satisfied with what they did. Unsatisfied in the first 4 games, so it erases what they've done so far. No. This is the test. This is the test for Flo now. He has to now pass this test now. And he has to show us that he can overcome this kind of adversity. And if he does that, that's another stage that he shows us that he can be the guy. But he hasn't faced this. Now he is. Now let's see what happens. Ernest Ulavarro, thank you on the super chat. He says, with this offseason, I've lost faith in Flores' trade acumen. And again, Ernest, right now, every Dolphin fan is entitled to feel negatively however they want. I may not agree with you on firing everybody right now. That I'm not agreeing with you. But if you feel that way, you're entitled to it. The way they're playing, I can see why you're thinking, okay, this is never, you've been beaten so much in the past by the same stuff that you're afraid of even trying to allow them to fix it. So you're guaranteeing yourself already that this is the same old, same old. So I get it. I totally understand if you don't think that they can fix this. I mean, you've been through this before, right? Manny J. Snow on the super chat says, I literally just apologized to Larry Zonk on Twitter for the team's performance today. Embarrassing, no excuse. I'm sure Larry was ripping them more than me and you combined. Have you seen Larry Zonk on Twitter? He is awesome. I mean, he lets the team have it on Twitter. He was killing them last week, okay? I mean, he was absolutely killing them last week. So Larry Zonka's old school. He's gonna call it like he sees it. You know what I mean? But that's what it's all about, man. All right, do we have any other players? Huh? Who do we have? All right, let's hear from the one of the worst backup quarterbacks in the history of the Miami Dolphins. Let's hear from Jacoby Brissett. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's frustrating. And it's all on us, and we're putting our defense in bad situations and things of that nature. But yeah, it's frustrating. And we just got to find a way to stop the bleeding, and focus and concentrate and really just start to really take it one play at a time and repeat that cycle over and over again.
Is there anything in particular that needs to be pinning the drives for you guys?
It's really us. It's really us. It's our execution in those critical moments, all of us being on the same page at once. And at times we are on the same page, and then we execute, and then there's times where we're not, and then we get put behind the 8 ball, and then it's things like that. So we just got to find a way to really zero in on our task, and it starts from play 1 of the game, and we can't wait until those minutes at the end of the game to really start going.
I mean, it's easy for us and Ox fans at home to say, why aren't they pushing the ball downfield? But from your perspective, we heard Brian say that there are opportunities to do so in the game, but from your perspective, what keeps you from trying to push the ball downfield?
Yeah, it's definitely opportunities. Sometimes when we call them, they really just push back and they force us to throw the ball underneath. And then, I think towards the end, we started to find ways to try to. But yeah, it'll come. Whenever they come, they'll start coming in bunches because we have the guys to push the ball down the field.
One of those two touchdown drives there at the end of the game, Devontae had a huge role in that. Does that give you, what does that do for your chemistry with him moving forward?
It's. I mean, just from learning from last week. Last week when we got in those situations, I overthrew him a couple times, then this week we hit them because we get that experience. We get to talk about it. We get to, practice it, and then we come out, and then he has, like you said, he has big roles and he makes big catches.
Jacoby, to that end, for both Parker and Gesicki, it seems like they're getting more involved third quarter, fourth quarter. Are teams trying to take those two guys out?
At points, yeah. They know when certain spots that we like to target these guys, but it doesn't matter. They're still good players, so we just got to find a way to get these guys the ball more often. I got to do a better job of that and keep getting better.
Jacoby, how are you doing in you had your chance, you're getting your chance now, the 2 games you're starting to lose, and then obviously the Buffalo game, you played most of the game. Just, how disappointing is that? How are you, taking that, and what are you looking at now going forward?
Obviously it's frustrating. You never want to go out in the game and lose. I don't think anybody goes out to say, hey, I'm okay if we lose. But, you just keep building, and you keep, finding ways to get better. Like the Devontae Parker situation, for example. The week before we don't hit it, then this week we hit a couple. So you just keep finding those things to push forward and keep getting better at. And then once they start all forming together, piece by piece at a time, then you'll have something.
Kobe, what was going through your mind when the ball came out on that fumble?
I was trying not to take a sack, and I was trying to get the ball out, and Grover just got me at the right time.
Jacoby, late in the second quarter, the Colts had the ball on 4th and 1, and they went for it from their own 27. Willing to risk giving you guys the ball on their 27. Did you take note of that? Was that sort of a personal affront?
For sure. Definitely. It's Frank's MO. He's not scared to do it, but definitely as an offense, you say, hey, it's borderline disrespectful, honestly, because they think they can stop you and not get a touchdown. But yeah, it's part of the game.
Is there a simple answer for what's wrong with the running game?
No, it's never simple, but it's never that complicated. You just got to keep finding ways to do what we're good at in the run game, and I think we are getting better. When we started to hit some of our downhill runs, we popped a couple, but yeah, I think we're getting better in the run game. We just got to get better at everything,
Final question.
Jacoby, how do you find consistency as an offense, especially starting next week?
I think Flo did a good job of telling us just look in the mirror and that's where it's going to start at, because it's going to start from within, and that's where it always starts. And then you go out there and practice and you show why you're going to line up and you're going to dust it off, put the pads back on, and get ready to go back to work. Thank you.
All right, I've heard enough. That's Jacoby Brissett. Do you know what Jacoby Brissett and Manny Diaz? They're both the Peanuts teacher to me. Wah, 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 wah. I don't hear anything. I just don't hear anything. Ernest Ulabarro says during a Week 5 game against the defending NFC champion San Francisco 49ers, not this season. I don't know, but thank you for the super chat, sir. Juan Vargas says, my kids want to move to a winning state team. Juan Vargas's kids want to move to a winning state team. Sir, what's wrong with you? We are a winning state. The Tampa Bay Lightning, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and even the Tampa Bay Rays are winning. What are you talking about? Your kid is just in the wrong city. That's all. You're in a winning state. It's just this part of the state we're not winning right now. That's all. But your kid can move to Tampa, and that's it. Tanner Olson, thank you for a little super chat. Says offensive play calling and personnel decisions, atrocious. Flo needs help on that side of the ball. Defense can't be on the field 75%. Watson hasn't won squat with sorry Texans. Not winning squad here. You're probably right about that. I disagree with you on the defensive part, because the defense is his own worst enemy. As I told the other person, when the first play of the game is a 35-yard run 2 weeks in a row, today to start the second half. You know, you want to get back in the game. What do? You allow Jonathan Taylor to open up the drive with a 39-yard run. I mean, you know, the defense also is its own worst enemy. I'm not giving the defense any breaks whatsoever. They don't make enough game-changing plays. They don't get after the quarterback enough. They just don't do enough. They don't stop the run, man, ever. I got to go back to stop watching games, says Brent. I'm so sorry, man. I apologize, Brent. I know it's tough, man. We're all going through a tough one right now. Chris Trackhouse says, would love to feel Tua can come back and get us even, but reality is it won't happen. Where is Gaskin? I can't answer anything that Flo does right now. Nothing that Flo does make any sense. Malcolm Brown is a nice player, but I see more out of Gaskin than I do out of Malcolm Brown, and I don't understand it. So I can't answer that. Jose says, Big O, this is the Bill Belichick curse. No assistant has done well elsewhere. Flores is being exposed as a pretender and not a contender. Well, Jose, you could be right. And we're going to find out the rest of this year here. We're going to find out how Flo actually handles everything. This will be a hell of a test. All right, let's do this. Let's ask Alan Poupart, of course, with our American Dream, with our Sports Grill, Miami Dolphins Insider Report. And, of course, Alan does it twice a week, does it on Wednesdays, and on game day. He joins us for all the post-game shows, and he is ready to go. And, Alan, how are you doing, my man? How impressed were you with today's performance?
Impressed doesn't begin to do it justice.
There we go. Okay, now go ahead.
No, I said impressed doesn't begin to do it justice. I marveled at it. It was wonderful. At least there was some offense going from both teams, because that first half, woo, that was rough to watch.
I tell you, the best thing that's happened to you in the last 12 hours is that I introduced you to the Ocean Blue. I mean, outside of that, since then, nothing good has happened to you. So that's that's a tough one there. But no, seriously, I was talking about this. Flo, he had his share of adversity in the first year, but you kind of tore it all down. So there were no expectations. So when you went 0-7, we weren't surprised. And then when you went 5-4, we were pleasantly surprised. And then last year, you lost your first two, and then you go 10-4, and we were pleasantly surprised that you won 10 games. Well, this year now, you're dealing with a different monster. There's no longer any pleasantly surprised. There are now expectations, and they're not being met. And a lot of the habits that you had in the first 2 years, like penalties and stupid mistakes, those things now are part of the equation where they weren't the first 2 years. So Flores has several tests to pass now after we're watching him go 1-3 in the first quarter of the season.
No question about it. And I think that perhaps expectations were a little bit too high. But maybe, as you and I talked before, maybe they squeezed out every single win out of the roster that they could get last year to finish 10-6, while there was some clear flaws on that team. Flaws that, by the way, were not adequately addressed in the offseason. And I'm pointing at you, offensive line, because I mean, at some point, am I going to live to see the day when the Dolphins actually have a top 10 offensive line in the league? Because this goes on year after year after year. The Colts in 2016 had a good offensive line, but it's really bad right now. And I know before I came on, you mentioned not using Myles Gaskin. Well, part of the issue is the running backs today. The running game was 35 yards and 16 carries, which is 2 point something, not even 2.5. They can't run. They can't open any holes up front. In pass protection, they have problems everywhere, including blitz pickup, and Myles Gaskin is not very good at blitz pickup. So, I think Myles Gaskin's a better running back than Malcolm Brown. Would it really make a big difference if he was in the game instead of Malcolm Brown? I don't think so. The issues go way beyond that, and this is a team that absolutely, you mentioned penalties and all that. Well, this is a team that right now can't afford any of those things because they're not good enough to overcome them.
Amen.
So when you have plays like they were semi in control of the game at 3-0, And then you have Brendan Scarlett for why he jumps offside on the 4th and 3 punt.
Wow.
And all of a sudden you give life to a Colts team that has shown no life whatsoever, and it looked really bad on offense.
Right.
And again, this is a type of team that's not good enough to do that. And the Colts got a little steam out of that, and all of a sudden they got themselves going.
By the way, you can follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. Catch his work at Sports Illustrated. He does excellent work every day. You should bookmark his Sports Illustrated page because it keeps all of his articles there, and you can keep up with any of the new articles as Alan covers the team on a daily basis. Alan, when I look at right now the quarterback spot and Brissett, and I see how poorly he's playing, and sometimes it seems to me like he's ultra conservative, and so is the coaching staff, and Flo allows it. And then towards the end of the game, all of a sudden they start opening up the game and throwing it downfield and catching the ball or drawing penalties. And then you're wondering, okay, so why isn't this going on earlier? And why is Flo, he's got the headsets on. He's got to be hearing all those calls early on. He's comfortable with the conservative play calling. So why doesn't that change?
That's a great question. And in fact, Flo was asked that after the game, and he says, I think he said something to the effect that they prefer a methodical approach. Well, you're not good enough to have a methodical approach. This idea of dinking and dunking is great if you're, I don't want to say flawless, but close to flawless, where you don't make mistakes, you don't have bad negative plays.
Tom Brady. If you, right? Yes.
Yeah, really, and the Dolphins are not that, and there's no reason for them not to take shots down the field, because even if you don't get the catch, with Devontae Parker making contested catches, which apparently today he did better in catching routine passes when he was wide open, which is kind of odd, or you can get a DPI. There's no reason to wait until you're down 20-3. I mean, Big O, they didn't have 100 yards of offense until the 4th quarter.
I know.
I mean, how bad? And then the thing is, I hope people saw the game and don't judge Brissett by his stats, because his passer rating, he ended up with like 107.5 because of all the garbage stats in the 4th quarter. But he was rough. But there's a reason he's been a backup pretty much his entire career. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. And he didn't get enough help from some of his guys, including Parker, including, again, the pass protection. And then Brissett, what I've noticed now lately is he's got a nasty habit of trying to avoid the sack at all costs, even if it means trying to chuck the ball at the last second. One time that resulted in a fumble.
Brain farts. He is akin to brain farts.
I mean, it's okay to take a sack. It's not the end of the world. I mean, don't try to force it. If you're in the process of being tackled, just go down with the ball. Seriously.
I asked Stephen Holder today, and you know Stephen, and Stephen covered him for several years. I go, hey, while he's conservative and he doesn't really turn it over as much, but he does have brain farts, right? And he goes, that's actually a good way of describing it.
It's a beautiful term, yeah.
Yeah, because it's just like one of those deals. Then there's a moment in the game where he's just going to kind of go haywire and then just do a stupid play, and you're like, holy crap, come on, dude. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so you're normally conservative all throughout the game as it is, and then every once in a while, here goes some crazy play where you turn it over. And here's where I would follow up with Flores maybe tomorrow on this. He's benched Tua for less. Why does Brissett still have a job? I get it that the kid behind has zero experience. But so did Tua when you started him. You started him with zero experience and a bum hip. What the hell? Oh, because he's the 5th pick of the draft and the other guy's undrafted. I'm just saying, Brissett's playing worse than Tua, and yet Tua gets benched a couple of times, and this kid still keeps the job. Kind of weird. Kind of a double standard.
No, it's not weird, because Tua got benched for Ryan Fitzpatrick, who had already shown you early last year that he could still play. And guess what? What's the best the offense has looked over the past 2 years is when Fitzpatrick was a quarterback.
It's a great point.
Sorry?
It's a great point. You're right.
Yeah, that's the problem. And I know there were a bunch of Dolphin fans on Twitter are like, put in Sinnett. Why? Because he had a great game in the preseason finale against the Bengals? I mean, sorry, the kid, and this is not, you're not talking, you mentioned Tua, 5th overall pick. Well, Sinnett was a rookie free agent. not exactly the same thing. And if you think,
but you have to admit at this point, for Dolphin Nation, for anybody, Brissett looks like a hopeless cause, is what it looks like. It doesn't look like you're winning with him anyway. So I don't mind the craziness of putting Sinet in there if I have pretty much no shot with this guy as it is. And hey, I know it was against third and fourth stringers, but at least he showed me a little more moxie than I've seen from this guy overall. I'm just saying, dude.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I've seen like rookie free agent quarterbacks or third string quarterbacks get into the games for the Dolphins. Like, you remember John Beck when he came in 2007? The dude was a second round pick.
I know.
And he looked like a deer in headlights. And that's my concern. When defenses start throwing all sorts of different things at reach the net, you're going to
Cleo Lemon, Pat White. I'm well aware, of the guys that don't belong there, and they look like they don't belong there. I know what you're saying. But again, at this point, I'd rather try that than stick with that guy right now. And here's the other thing: I think it becomes deflating to the rest of your team. Also, I don't believe anybody in that locker room believes that Jacoby Brissett can win them a game. I don't believe that. They might tell you that, but they don't believe that.
But the issues go deeper than that, though. And I mean, with that offensive line, it's just you can't do anything with that offensive line. It's just bad. And again, I mentioned
not for nothing, but Sinet moves better than Brissett. He does.
But does he? Because Brissett picked up some good plays. He bailed out his center on a bad shotgun snap in the first quarter, where he picked up the ball, got outside the tackle box, and chucked it. He also picked up a nice third down conversion when he had pressure and moved out of the pocket. Brissett's not fast, but he generally knows when to get going, and he's an okay scrambler. It just looks ugly doing it. But to me, the issues go, even though Jacoby Brissett's not a great quarterback, I wouldn't argue that. The issues on this team right now go way beyond that.
By the way, X has not played well most of the season. You can talk about that strip fumble, but I've watched him get burned in almost every game, and in this game he got burned a few times too.
He did. Well, he did the long drag, what was it, for like 41 yards. On a drive that began because Jason Sanders mishit the kickoff and stuck it out of bounds, so the Colts begin the drive at the 40-yard line. And that was another killer. They had three like nasty special teams plays that, and again, they're just not good enough. But going back to your point, no, X has not been great, and he came up with that incredible interception against the Bills. But even in the second half of that game, he had like three very big plays against him. So no, he's not been great. I mean, but he's not been bad either. I mean, let's not go overboard either. And now they're dealing with maybe Byron Jones. I mean, who knows how bad his injury is, and of course we got Will Fuller also injured.
Well, that one is like, okay, now Will Fuller, like, whoa, that guy is completely unreliable now at this point, because that guy's fragile if he's going to get banged up again. Let's stick to special teams. Nobody is a bigger fan of Jakeem Grant than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jakeem Grant, the returner. And I've been honest, I don't want him at wide receiver, but today, bro, there's no defense. I mean, if you're going to screw it up with the only job that you're there for, then you know what I mean? Now, anybody that tells me, okay, trade him, cut him, whatever, I can't argue with them now. I mean, this wasn't really his problem on special teams. Now you got to wonder, wait a minute, is this crap now rolling over to special teams too? Because you can't trust him as a wide receiver. So the one good thing that you can do, what'd you think of today?
No, correct. And the other part that, like, I don't know when the rules exactly were changed, but the second they changed the kickoff rules, he lost a ton of his value because now he doesn't return kickoffs anymore because everything's a touchback.
Right.
So now you're basically dealing punt returns only, and even the special punt returners are going to get one or two that they're going to break in a year, and that's a good year. So that's an awful lot of plays. But I'll throw you 1 year away, and just to show you I'm fair, Albert Wilson was active today, and I don't think he caught a pass. He was a complete non-factor.
Yeah, but that's a whole different.
I know. I'm just playing to you here because I know you're an Albert Wilson hater, so to speak. But yeah, Jakeem, because I'm totally on board with you with Jakeem. Again, his strict value on the team is as a punt returner, and if he's going to muff punts, there's no reason to have him on the team. That's pretty clear.
Yeah. I mean, that's disgusting. I mean, when I saw that, it was like, okay, dude, come on, bro. I mean, they give you every break in the book on wide receiver. Now you're going to screw it up here. That part is unacceptable overall. All right, so I'm going to ask you the impossible. How in the hell does Flo fix this?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I don't think anything gets fixed on offense until the offensive line actually can protect. And I was thinking about this also because the play calling is not exactly inspiring, if we're going to be honest about things.
No.
I mean, is anybody starting to miss Changeli a little bit? Maybe respect a little the job he did in 2020 and maybe a little bit more?
I respected Changeli from the first go-around, not this go. I didn't need this go-around to respect Changeli. I saw what he did the first go-around, and I saw him go 8-8 with a Cowboy team. That was amazing for him to go 8-8 overall with Jerry hanging above him. He's a good coach, bro. I've never been a Changeli hater. I just never have.
Well, here's the thing. When Tua comes back, and now it's looking like it's going to be the London game in week 6, then what comes back to the offense that's not there and that clearly can help the offensive line is quick passing, because Jacoby does not exactly have a quick trigger. So I think that's going to help. Maybe that puts a little bit less pressure on the offensive line to where the offense can now become NFL caliber, even if it's not a great offense, because right now to get to mediocre on offense would be a major improvement.
Yeah.
And then maybe the defense is not on the field all the time, having to bail out the offense and probably understandably getting discouraged because we have to drag this unit, every single solitary week. So I think that can help. And then the schedule also becomes a lot more palatable, even though the Colts were an easy target today with all their injuries. Because I'm sorry, that didn't look like a great team, even though they won by 10. That was not a great team, a great Colts team today. But after Tampa Bay next week, and the only shot there is maybe there's a letdown factor because of a big buildup for the game tonight, and all the Bucs are emotionless because of it, and they go through the motions. To me, that's the only way the Dolphins win that game. But after that, you have Jacksonville, you have Atlanta back-to-back, which are two eminently winnable games. So now you're getting back to a more respectable record, and you can build some confidence. But again, the offensive line needs to play better, and the Dolphins need to find ways on offense to help the offense. I mean, to help the line. That means quick passing, which works better with Tua quarterback when we're Brissett.
Yeah, although I thought this one was winnable too. So.
Oh, no question.
Oh my God, pain, bro, pain. Damn, bro. I thought
very, very painful.
Thought we were headed in the right direction, and now it's all getting derailed now with everything going on. We'll see now. Now we're going to see if this coach can get it out of this hole. If he can, then he's going to pass the test. But if he can't, now, and we'll wrap it up with this. I've told people here, and we got almost 1,000 people on the live chat right now. I don't believe anybody gets fired anyway, no matter what. They might be pissed off at the end of the season or whatever, but they're all going to give them another chance to come back and try to fix it. So for all,
you mean after this year?
Yes.
Not to me, if it goes way south, all bets are off.
You mean if it goes Cam Cameron south? Okay, all right.
Well,
yeah.
not 1-15, but if it goes 4-13, 5-12, and some ugly performances along the way, I could see. Yeah, I could see some significant changes. Not if they go 8-9 or 9-8 and don't make the playoffs. No, I absolutely agree with you.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go that bad. If it is, then yeah, you're right. If it goes Cam Cameron's direction, then yeah, it could be pretty bad if you only win a couple of games. That could be ugly. But I don't think that they're going to end up really cleaning house. I think that they'll put them all on double secret probation, which, you know what? Deservedly so. You deserve to be on double secret probation now because you're moving up to the big boy status that comes with expectations and playoffs and those kind of things. So it's all well and good when you're winning games and it doesn't matter. But now when you've got to win them when they matter, that's when you earn your money, bro.
Correct.
So we'll see. All right, Alan, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Did you already buy the first couple of albums of Ocean Blue? Because if not, I'll give you the copies.
Give me the copies. That'll be great.
There you go. All right, brother. You be good.
Right back at you. Talk to you Wednesday.
You got it. He is awesome. Alan Poupart, great work as always. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. G Firm says we are 1-4. Consider the Bucks by week. P.S. Hopefully this humbles the Tua detractors. Much respect to you, Big O. Thank you, sir. I just want Tua to come back and kick ass, man. That's all I want. That's all I want. All I want is Tua to come back. I want the line to give him at least a couple seconds, and I hope the kid comes back to kick ass because the Dolphin Nation needs this to go back in a better direction than where we're going right now, because right now it is as ugly as it could possibly be. All right, let's go to Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
All right, we are back, and there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Omar Kelly. Oh, there you go, looking sharp.
Thank you.
I wish the team looked as sharp as you did. Damn, dude, this thing has completely come off the rails now. And I was talking with Alan about this, and I'll run it by you now. This is a new test now for Flo, because Flo passed the test when there are no expectations, when you tear it down, and you end up 5-4 after the 0-7 start, and that's a beautiful thing. And then last year, nobody expected you to win 10 games, so you surprised and shocked the world. Now you're coming to a season with expectations, and you got to now start winning games against the big boys. And not that the Colts are the big boys, but what I'm saying is, if you want to get to the playoffs, you gotta start winning these games and getting to that point. This is a different test now for Flo now, dealing with expectations and having to try to meet them.
I don't disagree with you. I always judge seasons based on I always say this, and people don't really understand what I'm talking about, but because adversity is throughout the NFL every single season, every single week, it's really about how you judge, how you face adversity. But I don't begin judging a head coach until I see how he handles himself in adversity, and until I see what his go-to is. Gase, for instance, Gase blamed everybody but himself. Adversity hit, Gase blamed everybody but himself, and eventually players caught on to that. I don't know how Flo handles adversity. Because I really don't feel like he's faced any. I think maybe last season when they started 1-3, that was a hint of adversity.
That's nothing like what is going on now. He still didn't have expectations last year. This is different. People weren't calling for your head at 0-2 last year.
I don't think anybody's calling.
They were already calling. They were already calling for your head already at 1-1. Okay, people weren't even impressed with the New England win. That's how we had Dolphins.
I don't know. I don't know if we're at the point where anybody's calling for their head, but I think we are officially at the point where we can second guess just about every single move that they made this offseason. Every single move, every single decision. From Bernard McKinney to Will Fuller to decisions on the offensive line to Eric Rowe, getting rid of Shaq Lawson, every single draft pick, Jacoby Brissett is the backup. There's nothing that you can't second guess. Yeah. And and you have to wonder, you have, and because there's nothing you can second guess, you have to wonder and ask yourself, is this franchise headed in the right direction? Have they made the right decisions to get you at the desired destination? And if you're just going to be honest with yourself, a lot of the answers are no.
Yeah, right now you have to. You're right, Omar. I mean, the first 2 years,
no running back, no running game.
You have to say yes through the first 2 years, And right now, through the first 4 games, you have to say, oh, no, this looks really bad right now because nothing. I mean, Omar, all the things that helped you win the first 2 years, like not making mistakes and penalties, that's gone out the window now. Now they're constantly making a stupid mistake after stupid mistake, and they're constantly committing penalties now. That's those 2 things alone showed you that you were a good coach. So why is that happening now, Omar, when it didn't happen the first 2 years? Is there any explanation for
I
that?
don't think it's a question of being undisciplined. I really don't think so. I think it's just a matter of, these penalties are just coming at the worst and most inopportune time. Like Brandon Scarlett's offsides that basically negated a punt and gave the Colts back the ball, and I believe they scored on that drive. I mean, he's one of the smarter players on the team, good special teams player. No reason to question why he's even out there. It was just a mistake on his end, and they're having a lot more of those. Last week, I could tell you Liam didn't play well, got penalized a couple of times. I think this game, Robert Hunt was hit one time. And they keep making those excuses. Like, I didn't see that many drops today. I'm not sure if I saw that many drops today.
No, today there weren't a lot of drops. No, today there weren't a lot.
But they want to blame the drops on. They want to blame this team's struggles on, and I get him. I get him. He's looking for something. He's reaching the drops, the miscues, the penalties, and I'm looking at how many penalties they had today. I'm sorry, they had 5 penalties for 32 yards.
No, but it was when you had those penalties.
It's still 5 penalties for 32 yards.
No, but the penalties were killers. Were killers, bro.
Okay, it's probably still going to be one of the least. It's probably still going to be one of the least penalized teams this week. I promise you. So, you can excuse your play on drops and fumbles and poorly timed penalties, but I'm sorry, there's nothing about your team that's good. There's no identity. No identity. You don't do anything good.
Well, hold on a second. The penalties and the mistakes are happening every week now. I'm with you if it was 1 week. That, okay, he had a bad week. You have missed, bad timing penalties. You made mistakes. I can deal with that, Omar, but it's every week now. They've been doing it all month long. That's the problem, I think, that's reared its ugly head, that we're seeing them make more mistakes. Now, let me run a couple things by you, okay? One, Tua was benched for less at times than what Brissett has done.
No, let's not go there. Let's not go there. Reed Sinet is not your answer.
Poupart had a great point that when you bench Tua, you were going to Fitz. And Fitz is better than everybody that's, on the team right now. So you can understand why you would go back to Fitz. So, Sinet you can't go to because he's so young. But I'm just saying, Brissett is playing terrible football.
Terrible football till the fourth quarter when he starts slinging it, and somehow they start producing points and yards. I don't know why. But, Jacoby Brissett had like 100 passer rating today. How? I don't know, but he did. 107.5. I'll take that any day.
I know that. That's why stats never really tell the story.
It's fair, but I'd still take it any day.
And listen, he's been conservative his whole career. Has nothing to do with this first half. He's never played with any balls throughout his entire career. And I blame Flores more than anybody else because Flores has got the headset on. And he's hearing either the offensive coordinators aren't calling any deep shots or they've called some, but Jacoby isn't taking the deep shots. And then all of a sudden, Flores has still got the headsets on. And in the fourth quarter, when they're trailing, now they're throwing. I got to blame Flores for allowing
that's not his lane. That's not his lane. If we're talking about defensive plays, I'll allow it. But we're going to sit here.
No, he's the head coach, dude. He's the head coach.
He is the head coach, but stay in your lane. That's like asking Adam Gase to go over there and call some defensive plays. I get it, and he's the first one that says it comes down to me, bro. Okay, and I hear where you're coming with this because everything. There's nothing they're doing well. Nothing. There's name anything they're doing well.
Nothing. There's nothing that
Okay.
they're doing well. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. They are arriving to games on time. Okay.
I'm like looking at
That's all I
these
got.
plays and these stats. There's nothing that they're doing well. Like, okay, maybe they start the game. They have a 24-16 first quarter lead. That's the only positive I could take from their entire stat sheet. Like, Jalen Waddle's averaging 8 yards a reception. College football's biggest play receiver is averaging 8 yards per reception. Your leading back, Myles Gaskin, is averaging 4.9 yards a carry and barely touches the ball, barely plays anymore. I understand why, but, that's the reality. And honestly, I think Jacoby Brissett played a pretty decent game considering he probably evaded about 6 sacks today. It's your offensive line is trash. Your run defense is trash. You're not creating turnovers.
That's one thing that I will lay on Flo. Well, there's all the things I'd lay on Flo right now, but the defense has been just so terrible all year long so far in the first 4 games, and they're constantly allowing just to start the second half. There goes Taylor running for 39 yards, and it just seems like they that's where the money is at. The money's at corner, the money's at linebacker, the experience is there on the defense, not on offense. They should be carrying the team. They should be making life easier on the team, and they are not making life any easier on the team. And by the way, your boy X played like crap today. Okay, in fact, he really hasn't played well all year. Outside of the forced fumble and the INT, he's been burned almost in every game. Okay,
he's
so
gonna get burned.
I know that, but he's a guy that should not be getting. What my point is,
he's gonna get burned. His style he played, he gets burned.
But my point is, even your best player is not playing his best. That's a problem. Okay,
I don't
best
disagree
player.
with you.
And
name me a player on this team that's playing well.
God,
I can't give you one. It ain't Jakeem Grant.
The long snapper.
He made a tackle today, so maybe.
No, he hasn't missed any long snaps. So there's nobody, bro. There's nobody.
From Eric Rowe, who's been a pillar of consistency.
Oh,
there's first 2 years to like Devontae Parker, maybe. Like
he dropped the touchdown the other day, bro. No.
That's one game.
He's dropped a couple balls this year already.
Albert Wilson, Jalen, like nobody. Mike Gesicki, Mike Gesicki, no, he barely plays.
That's not his fault, right?
That's not his fault.
That's not his fault. Gesicki.
I think it's his fault that he can't block.
No, that has nothing to do with him playing or not, Omar.
Oh, yes, it does. He can't be on the field.
Get out of here, Omar.
Bro,
all throughout the league, Omar, you know how many tight ends play that can block?
I think
tons of tight ends play that can block.
I think 2 tight ends started today. If Gesicki would be in that group if he could actually block.
Dude, if that's the case, then
he's not playing 60 snaps a game because he can't block.
Omar,
whose fault is that?
Omar, if that's the case, then that means Flo and the offensive coordinators don't know what the hell they're doing. Because all over the league, players are playing that can't block. Okay? At tight end. At tight end, they're playing all over the league and they can't block. You got to find a way.
Anytime Mike got on the field, Buffalo put everybody at the line of scrimmage, forced him to come in because it was an Olay to the quarterback. And teams are going to pick up on that, and they can't play him on downs that teams are like, oh, he's on the field, let's blitz. Like he telegraphs what you do, and he's got his limitations.
But you don't have to. He goes out on a route. You don't have to set. You don't have to keep him.
I would rather have a real receiver on the field than Mike Gesicki. I've said this to you.
He is a real receiver.
To you.
Oh, Omar, who's a better receiver than Mike Gesicki on the team right now?
He's a slow wide receiver. Okay.
No. That's not the question I asked you. I asked you right now, who's the best wide receiver on the team?
Devontae Parker?
No.
Devontae Parker?
No.
Parker?
Devontae Parker drops balls. Mike Gesicki does not drop balls. Okay? If I need a pass caught in a clutch moment, I want Mike Gesicki, not Devontae Parker.
Crazy. You
What
are
are you talking about?
crazy.
I saw him last year with a bum shoulder catch a ball with one arm.
You
Devontae Parker couldn't do that in his dream.
Mike
Devontae
Gesicki,
Parker had one in his hands 2 weeks ago and dropped it in the end zone.
No, sir.
Dropped it in the
No,
end
thank
zone.
you.
No traffic, no nothing. Nobody
I'm
around
good.
him. He got a guy down on the floor, and he had it right in his hands and dropped it.
If let's say the opponent had an Xavier Howard and put Xavier Howard on Mike Gesicki wouldn't catch a single pass. Devontae Parker would still put in that work. There's not like teams are being exposed by Mike Gesicki. I would never cover Mike Gesicki with a linebacker. I would never.
Gesicki is a guy that can catch passes on anybody pretty much, dude. He's shown it. He's shown in the last 2 years.
Gesicki, I would jam the shit out of him at the line of scrimmage, and he's a slot receiver. He's a slow slot receiver.
Okay, the point is, for argument's sake, whether he's number 1 or number 2 on the team, you have to have your best receivers out on the field.
Well, he ain't playing. He ain't playing.
That means the offensive coordinators and Flores don't know offense from their ass. That's pretty simple.
Okay. I can't argue anything you say right now.
That's how I'm going to put it. If you don't have Mike Gesicki on the field, then the offensive coordinators and the head coach, they don't know jack squat, because you cannot leave your better players on the sidelines. You can't.
Well, they're doing it. They do it on a weekly basis.
We are talking about the same offensive coordinators that have Jalen Waddle running 2-yard routes. Okay? So the problem is not Mike Gesicki. I think Mike Gesicki's proven that when you have a quarterback and you have an offensive coordinator that can set him up, he'll get open. The aforementioned Chan Gailey that we were talking about. And
listen, you want to know I'm right for the Sun Sentinel? You, the fans, Flores, everybody owe Chan Gailey an apology. Everybody
wanted what?
Owe Chan Gailey an apology.
Oh, no, not me. I wasn't a Chan Gailey hater.
Okay.
I wasn't a Chan Gailey hater. No. I never. You could go back and check all the audio. You never saw me killing ever Chan Gailey. Chan Gailey won me on the first Dolphin go round, not this one. I didn't need anything that happened here to find out about Chan Gailey. I found out about Chan Gailey when I was a beat guy and he was there. Okay, I know about Chan Gailey. I'm fine with Chan Gailey. Now, do I know that Chan Gailey favored Fitz? Yeah, and that he probably knew that Tua wasn't his future, so he was just worried about the now because he was there with. So yeah, whatever. Were there some politics involved? Yeah, of course there was. But outside of that, he's a damn good coach, better than these guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, man.
I mean, so if that's what you're writing something right. You know, you whether it's the offensive line, whether it's the offensive coordinator, whatever it is that you're going to talk about, the mistakes that they made this offseason. Yeah.
Whichever offensive coordinator.
Right.
Whoever's calling plays. Throw Charlie Fry in there too. Listen, and to be honest with you, we're going to throw blame on the offense, and yeah, the defense can't hold the opponent all game, but I'm sorry, you got to do something, man. You got to do something.
I'm with you.
I tweeted, and I truly believe this. Somebody got to be fired. Somebody, not. And I'm not a big advocate for this, but a player got to be fired, man. You gotta get people's attention. Somebody got to lose their job because this has consequences.
I tell you who might lose their job. Jakeem Grant.
Listen. Somebody got.
I can defend them to a certain extent, but when you start dropping punts,
you are literally useless right now.
Right. Yes, you are. You and I can have that discussion about special teams and then wide receiver, whatever, and I can make a case on. But once you do what you did today, there's no case. I got no case. I'm done. I'm over. I can't defend you anymore. You know what I mean? It's like you got one job now. and you can't do that job either. So I wonder. So wait a minute, your confidence is shot there too now. I know your
Look, man,
confidence is shot as a wide receiver, but come
Jakeem
on.
Grant has caught 2 passes for -7 yards.
He's useless as a wide receiver. I'm with you there. I've never fought you on that.
Man,
But special teams, he's always been a monster. He's always been fantastic. But if this is going to be part of it now, no. You can't have a dude back there that you don't know if he's going to catch it or not. I remember one year Shula went with some guy named Scott Miller, and Scott Miller couldn't get more than 4 yards on a return. But Shula put him out there. Why? Because he would never drop a ball ever in his life. And, he had another guy like James You Blew It Pruitt or something like that would drop balls and all that. So he said, you know what, guys, I know you guys want me to get a playmaker, but I can't find one. I'm going to put a guy back there that I know isn't going to fumble at least. So
3 touchdown passes in 4 games.
Who's that?
Dolphins. 3 touchdown runs in 4 games. They scored 6 touchdowns in 4 games.
You're not winning.
Seven. They got its defensive score.
You're not winning with this. And what pisses me off is these are the games, bro. We talked about this game and the Jags game. These are the games that you look back, and right now you're not even playing like you're going to win 5 or 6 games. But if you wanted to be a playoff team, you can't lose these kind of games. These are the games that keep you out of the playoffs every year. Every year, dude. Every year. Yeah. All right. What else did I wanted to ask you before we wrap it up here? Oh, is there any chance in your eyes that Flo's losing the team?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm watching the same mistakes. I'm watching the same penalties. I'm watching, a lot of the same crap go over and over again.
Despite what my peers think, I don't think Flo has this stranglehold on the team that the fan base and the media thinks he has. I don't, and I've hinted at this, and I don't. This isn't probably the opportune time, but Flo's not really a likable guy. So, it is what it is. I think, are they quitting on him like they did Gase? No, but I think we could get to that point.
Or can Cameron?
And it comes down to how you handle yourself during adversity. And I think that everybody's watching. Everybody's watching. And for the second time, he's like, "This is on me. It's on me. It's on nobody but me." And that's a good start. Now the question is, what are you going to do to coach that out of them? I mean, you start to take the hard ass approach. That could turn people off, even though probably they need it. Like, I don't know. Is this a hug 'em moment or a kick 'em in the ass moment?
Oh, this is a kick him in the ass moment.
Well, yeah, you got to kick him in the ass. You got to be confident that you're not going to lose the locker room, and he can lose the locker room and he'll be fine because I don't think there's any chance he'll get fired, and he could just purge the team again and then restart over. Because once you lose the locker room, there's no coming back. Like then we're looking at a Joe Philbin situation in 2011 where they began the season like, why is this guy still here? Like,
I'm not sure yet if he's lost the locker room, but I'll tell you this: we're going to find out in the next 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that he has. I don't know that he has, but I can tell you that he can. He can.
Oh,
and
for sure. For sure he can.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what is the right approach with this team. This is, is this a hug 'em moment? This is, confidant. Like, and this is one of those instances where I think you have to lean on your leadership. This is one of those moments where you have to lean on your leadership. And unfortunately, I hate to say this to Dolphin fans, they don't have very good leadership, and it's not strong leadership. And the reason you don't have very good leadership is because you purged all your leaders.
Right? Yeah. It's all gone. Yeah, people haven't been here long enough.
So now, what do you do? What do you do? And I don't know. I have no answers.
Right.
I can honestly tell you. I usually have some answers or some thoughts. I don't know what to do in this instance because I can tell you right now, you try to kick them in the ass, you could probably lose them. You try to hug them and love them, and hell, it might not get the point across.
Yeah,
And you know,
I think you've been hugging the last couple of weeks. I think it's time to
maybe,
do a
maybe.
little ass kicking.
I
And
agree.
again,
I agree.
I'm
I
with
think
you.
somebody needs to get. I think somebody needs to get fired.
I don't think he's lost the team personally, but I don't know. But I know this:
I don't think he's lost the team.
the next 6 to 8 weeks, we're gonna find out if he lost his team or not.
Even if he goes 7-11, 6-11, they're not firing him. They might cost Greer's job.
No, I don't think either one gets fired. I think they both get an opportunity because they've made progress the first 2 years. So you had a setback this year, so they'll tell you, all right, well, you're on that double secret probation, go ahead and come back. And I think both of them will know we better fix it or we're toast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the desperation point of the franchise. This whole thing goes in 4-year cycles for me, bro. And I keep redoing the 4-year cycle every year. Now, yes, next year is the next year we do desperate shit, and then we get fired. So, yeah, welcome to my life as a Dolphins merry-go-round, mediocrity merry-go-round. It's the same thing every 4 years, bro. Same thing.
Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly.
Somebody will stab Greer in the back and, take over the job. And, then a new GM will come in. Then that GM will say, oh, let me see Flores. Then that guy will fire Flores. It's a wash, rinse, repeat. The same old Dolphins.
I hope Flo figures this thing out in the next couple of weeks. All right, follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly and catch his work at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel and smash the hell out of that like button while you're watching, folks. Appreciate it. Omar, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, talk to you.
You got it. Thank you to Omar Kelly and the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
We are back, and we thank Omar Kelly as always. Alex Diaz, thank you, sir, giving us a little love on the super chat. He says, I was leaving the stadium pissed beyond pissed, and I told you repeatedly I've been positive with this team, and I was punching seats and cursing. I don't blame you, Alex. I'm patient too. I've given them every break possible, and I'm not. And listen, I'm still patient enough. I'm more patient than some of you out there because a lot of you want Greer fired and you want Flo fired. I'm not there yet. Adversities hit. They're 1-3. I want to see how they respond to this. I want to see if they can turn things around. I think it's important. I think this is a really important stage right now for Flo. This is how he proves that he belongs in this league because it's not all going to be great for you. You know what I mean? And the first 2 years, you surprise people by overcoming low expectations because nobody had any expectations the first year and very little in the second year. This was the year where you had playoff aspirations. Not just us, but they did too. And now they're not meeting their own expectations. They're not meeting our expectations. They're not meeting the media's expectations. They're not meeting everybody's expectations. So now that the crap has hit the fan, let's see how they respond. To me, this is where we find out if Flo is the guy or not. Instead of overreacting and firing somebody and then they go somewhere else and they become a really good coach. Luckily for Miami, that hasn't happened. They've been fortunate. Jimmy stayed retired. Wanstead never went anywhere. Cam Cameron, obviously Adam Gase, any of these guys have never really gone and left Miami and become a great coach. Now, their GMs have gone to actually do better. Dennis Hickey's with Buffalo, and they're pretty damn good. Jeff Ireland's with New Orleans, and they've been pretty good. And Rick Spielman's built up Minnesota outside of the quarterback, and they're pretty good. So they've done the personnel side, they've done a better job when they've left here. On the coaching side, everybody that's been fired has never excelled anywhere else. So that part stays intact. But now we're going to find out if Flo has it. And for me as a fan, I don't want to see this because I don't want to see them at 1-3. I don't want to see, I'd rather the team be 3-1 and we're feeling good about Miami and, things are going well. That's kind of the trajectory I wanted to go in. I was hoping we were going to have a good season. I was hoping they could make the playoffs this year so we could kind of feel like there's progress. I was hoping Tua could, stay intact and play well this year. That has not worked out. So now that nothing has gone according to plan, I want to see how Flores fixes the defense. I want to see how Flores fixes the offense. I want to see Flores get Tua on the field and hopefully get him to play well. And if he can't do these kind of things, then you don't have the guy. It's pretty simple. That's the beauty of this situation right now. It sucks being in it, but while we're in it, let's find out if you've got the guy that can handle the heat. And now the heat it's at a boiling point now. Flo is inside the volcano, and the lava is overflowing, and he's got to find a way to overcome all of this. True, Big O, something is wrong, man. Like wrong at the level above Flo. He has something in his mind, and it's not just his team. Nah, I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it's all about this team, and it's about Flo not doing things the right way right now. So Watson may not want to come here now. Remember, he has a no-trade clause and gets to choose where he goes. Brother, I don't know where Watson wants to go and what he wants to do. I'm not even worried about that right now. I don't really care about that right now. Right now, I care about watching Flo figure this crap out. That's what I care about. That's what I want Flo to do. Figure this crap out. Big O, you just admitted it. Basically, Tua was not the future. I haven't admitted anything. I don't know if Tua is the future or not. But I'm hoping he is, and I hope he gets back. I know he can be. I feel in my heart that he can be, but he needs the help. He's got to get a line. He doesn't have the kind of body that can take a pounding. Chris Greer needs a hard look, man, and feel some heat. He has more blunders in his resume than successes. Spencer Rattler will be the number 1 pick, and he's not that good. I don't know, but I love the kid from North Carolina. And let me tell you, I was watching the Pitt kid yesterday, the Pickett kid. That's a special arm. That's a special arm. That kid can sling it, dude. Love the Pickett kid. We overachieved. I'm not tripping. 1,000 watching, like 33 likes, pathetic. Is it that bad? No. How much is it right now? Let's see. What do we got? Yeah, 443, not bad. 443 is not bad, but we got 900 watching. So please smash the like button. It is incredibly important. That'll be the most important thing you can do for us is smash the like button. That is very important, man. That would help us out immensely. Remember, you can also make a donation to the program through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show, so you can help us grow at Cash Big O Show. Jay Hurd says, Big O defended Rich and handle me. Clearly, I don't know anything. Okay. Vlad Ostrov says, I can understand the offense is struggling because of the QB situation, but I thought the defense will play lights out as they always did. Yeah, that's where I'm pissed with Flo, that his defense isn't playing well. His defense is the one that you're paying all that money to. So, yes, I'm with you. I am more disappointed in the defense than anything else because they are not even coming close to doing their job. How many more chances does Greer get? He blew the draft capital we got in Tunsil and Fitzpatrick trades. Well, I mean, that's hey, St. Michael, my brother. I get it, bro. I get it. You've made the same point like 10,000 times. How many times are you going to send in the text, bro? I get it. You don't like Greer. That's fine. Whatever. Okay? Yeah, I got it. You already gave up on all the draft picks already. I understand. You can keep repeating and keep repeating and keep repeating. It's like, it's amazing how you got no new material, but all you can do is repeat the same point over and over and over again. Like, come on, dude. Like I read I read it without like, and I saw the name and I was like, well, same thing he puts on every day, 10 times. It's like, okay, I get it, dude. Run defense too much to get into even slow, soft, terrible. The run defense is insulting. Just like what I was talking with Omar, and we were going back and forth about Gesicki. And, you know, he's got this whole thing about Gesicki blocking, which I don't care about blocking. Ton of tight ends in this league can't block for crap. But they're some of your better receivers. And Gesicki is one of those guys that if these idiots can't figure out a way to put him on the field, then you know what Gesicki's going to do, right? He's going to leave, and he's going to go get a contract somewhere else, and he's going to kick ass for somebody else, and then all Miami gets is a compensatory pick for him. I mean, why even keep a guy you don't even know how to use? Either Gesicki's your best receiver or your second best receiver. All I know is that I would do everything to make sure he's always on the field. I'm not worried about his blocking. I'm worried about him being a mismatch out there for any small corner or linebacker that's going to try to stay with him. Big O agree 100% about the defensive numbers speak for themselves. And this is supposed to be Flores' strength. Don't want any more fired, but talent evaluator has been questionable. Everything has to be questioned. Everything right now has to be questioned. But more than anything right now is flow. Right now it's flow. Why? Okay, is Gesicki the problem? So then that's not evaluating the talent. You're not using him right. Is Waddle really the problem, or you don't know how to use him? You can't coach it up. You can't get your offensive coordinators. So what's the problem here? So I thought Gaskin was your number one, and then all of a sudden you make a switch to Brown? You understand what I'm saying? You guys can talk about the evaluator all you want, but I'm watching inconsistencies with it. Okay, how's Jerome Baker sacking fools left and right? How's he making all kinds of plays last year, and now he isn't in this defense? So who do I blame here? Do I blame the evaluator or do I blame the coach? You understand what I'm saying? I can point at different players and say it has nothing to do with evaluation. It has to do with what are you doing with them? How are you making them better? That's my point. That's where Van Ginkel, you had him pretty active the first 2 years. Not as active right now. Why? Agba had 9 sacks last year, right? So let's go. You got to get him on track and then obviously get some other guys on track too. I'm not so to me it's a little lazy just to say, oh yeah, no, let me go to the talent evaluator. Hold on a second. What's going on here with some of the players you do have? Why isn't the coach getting more out of those players? That's what I want to know. Why blame the evaluator? Maybe it's the person that's not developing the talent. That it's the coaches not putting them in the right positions to be successful. I need to see Flo pass this test now over the next few weeks. That's what I need to see. A rookie is our bet dilemma so far. Our best dilemma. I don't know what you're saying, sir. Robert Rivero says we are all crazy because we believe that the biggest holes on the team were going to be fixed with 3 new players, 2 rookies, and Butler, not counting the departures. Baker finessed Miami. I don't know, man. I don't know, because it's not just Baker. If it was just Baker, it's the whole defense that's not playing well. So what is it? By the way, have they done that amoeba defense thing that they all stand around like a lounge? They really haven't even done that either, right? I'm just wondering, like, there's things that I'm just wondering, like, what's going on? What was the difference between last year and this year? Who's the voice for defensive players on the field, and who's the voice for the offense? Brother, the coaches are the voices. They're the ones that need to put them in positions week in and week out. This isn't about one play or one player. This is about a whole team. And like Matt Tinno says, the trench play is a disgrace. He is 1,000% right. The trench play has been a disgrace. But I kind of understand on one side when you're really young. Okay, but what happened on defense where you're experienced? That's where, Lucky You says we are a young team also. You're right. You're right. But some of the experiences on the D. On the offensive side, there's a lot of youth. I'm with you there. The offense is a little different, but the defense, I expect them to be the anchor, and that's where I don't give them the break also, Lucky You. Felix Rosales says, Big O, Myles Gaskins needs to run the ball. He is underrated. He is good. But yet, somehow or another, he's not being used like he was before. No one can sit here and say Tua wouldn't have been pulled from this game. The entire offensive game plan is a joke. Yeah, but the question is, why you pull Tua and how come you don't pull Brissett? Because you got a young guy? That part sucks because, like somebody put, it's not like Sinet can't do any worse than Brissett. He might do better, but how much worse can it be? You lost already. You had no chance really at winning. I mean, it's not like the defense was ever going to stop the offense on the other side. It's what I was telling Sean. When they score, when the Dolphins scored, I turned to Sean. It doesn't matter because the defense doesn't stop anybody. And sure enough, they allowed a long drive after that to just take a bunch of time off the clock. The defense has been just absolutely insulting, dude. It's been despicable. All right, we're going to wrap it up here. We got to thank all the great people out here at Sports Grill in Miami Lakes. We're going to be back here next week for the Tampa Bay game. Whoa. But we encourage you to come on out here and join us. We'll talk some sports. I usually am hanging out and talking with people throughout the game and stuff like that here at Miami Lakes. So really, I encourage you all out there. Please smash the like button before you go. It is really, really important that you smash the like button. If you want to send us a text anytime that you're listening to the podcast, you can do it at 855-912-1056. And, of course, you can always make a donation to the show at Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show is the address. Cash Big O Show is the address. On behalf of Sean Stanley, Carlos and Frankie and all the owners here at Sports Grill and all the fantastic people out here at the Miami Lakes location. We're going to be out here for 4 more games, and then we move over to Bird Road. But next week for that Tampa game, we'll be out here starting off at 11 a.m., right? It's a 1 o'clock game, correct? It's a 1 o'clock game against Tampa, so we'll be out here at 11 a.m. So please come on out here and join us next week for Dolphins and Bucks. We will see you next week, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., like we do every day from 10 to 1, Monday through Friday, right here on the Big O Radio Show. On behalf of Joe Shad Alan Poupart, Omar Kelly, and Sean Stanley. I'm Orlando Alzugaray. We'll see you all tomorrow, 10 a.m. Be good.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show.